What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and of course, I'm coming at you guys with my next deck profile, and this one is for Shaddolls. Now, Shaddolls has been going through a ton of variations and a ton of positive feedback throughout the last couple of weeks because of the um, structure deck, and then bam, the ban list didn't hit anything but like one card. So, this is honestly a great step for Shaddoll because Shaddoll can now come back to the game as a really amazing fusion deck and still have a lot of his pieces to what predominantly would be July's list, and then that hit stop. But that's just, it happens, it happens. Anyway, I'm very excited to just talk about my variation of Shaddoll, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So, without further ado, let's actually take a look at what I'm building this time around for Shaddolls. So I'm going to start off with my heavy monster lineup, and I'm running 3 copies of Shaddol Wendy, 2 copies each of Shaddol Beast, Shaddol Skalmata, Shaddol Falco. Then I'm running 1 copy each of Shaddol Dragon, Shaddol Ariel, Neo Shaddol Ariel, and 1 copy of Shadow Hedgehog. So then, for the rest of the monsters, I'm running 3 copies of Performer Mage Damage Juggler, 2 copies of Performer Mage Trick Clown, and then 1 copy of Performer Mage Hat Tricker. And then the last set of monsters, I'm running 3 copies of Mathematician and 1 copy of Felice, the Lightsworn Archer. So that is it for the main Dex monsters. We move on to the spells. I'm running 3 copies of Shadow Fusion, 3 copies of L Shadow Fusion, 3 copies of Super Polymerization, 1 copy of Pot Avarice, 1 copy of Instant Fusion, and of course 1 copy of Foolish Burial. So that is it for the spells. And then for the trap cards, 3 copies of Shadow Incarnation, and then 3 copies of Shadow Core. So that's pretty much it for the main. We'll move on to this extra deck. Extra deck consists of the 3 lovely El Shaddol Construct, 2 copies of El Shaddol Winda, 1 copy of El Shaddol Acapulone, and 1 copy of El Shaddol Shiginaga. Then we got 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict, 1 copy of Link Kuribo, 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of Barrel Sword Dragon, 1 copy of Excite Knight, 1 copy of Fortune Lady Every, and 1 copy of Leo, the Keeper of the Sacred Tree. So that is it for the main and the extra. So actually, let's start taking a look at the choices themselves. So most of the bulk is coming from the monster count because Shaddolls just have a very big monster count. It can easily be reduced if you don't want to focus on using the assistance of a couple of monsters. Like if you just want to use hand traps, um, I'd probably say Ash Blossoms and Joyous Springs, Effect Veiler, just a lot of the really good corresponding hand traps. But I'll talk about that when I get to the non-Shadow monsters. So, the 3 copies of Wendy. Wendy is pretty much one of your big go-tos in terms of special summoning. She can pull any Shadow monster from the deck and put them face up defense position or face down defense position. And I love Wendy about that because Wendy can help me get Beast. She can help me get Falco. She can put Dragon on the board. She can put Skalmata on the board. So she has a lot of the range of the monsters in the main deck that she needs to put on the board and take advantage of. In terms of sending her to the graveyard, it's the same corresponding effect, so you're not really worried too much about that either. The only one she can't pick up is copies of herself, and that's perfectly fine. But the synergy she gives to the deck is just pretty much a free additional special summon, and putting that free additional monster on the board can be very beneficial, especially when you need some of your targets onto the field to do their corresponding effects. Primarily, the ones I mostly go for are Beast or Falco, just because of how resourceful their effects are. So let's move Wendy out the way and let's talk about each of the Latus that I'm running. So 1 copy of Shaddoll, 2 copies of Beast, Skalmata, and Falco. So like I said, Falco and Beast are pretty much some big adorations for a lot of combo plays. Like, let me fix this real quick. There we go. And Falco can touch summon itself or get a Shaddolls monster graveyard and touch summon it in defense position, so it keeps the flow of monsters on the board going as strong as possible. Then we have Shaddolls Beast. Beast is draw power. Beast is this card. Beast um, is pretty much, even though Beast is the highest of the Shaddolls main deck monsters, you get a lot more out of Beast, even if Beast becomes the, oops, I drew into Beast. Okay, well, I got three sets of fusion cards here that I can use for Beast. I can set up for a fusion card. I can set up Beast to be put into the graveyard and then draw off of Beast. So Beast is not too much of a factor there, especially with Reshadol Wendy, who can really help you speed up the process of putting him onto the field. And then you just have all the other, effects to help put him into the graveyard. Then we have, of course, Skalmata. Skalmata I probably just use for the search. Or, well, I'm not search, but for the send. And then the send can help get the searching, or getting the setup plays in the graveyard. It's a really good monster for first turn if you do manage to get into Skalmata. If not, it's just a really good discard target as well, and you have a lot of your range for its effect, of return, no, destroying cards, which isn't too bad. But for the most part, you never really see this destroy. You mostly see this send, which is not bad either because you can send any shit all card, fusions, your spells, your traps, or your monsters. So that is it for them. And then going to the one ofs, Shaddoll Wind, I mean not Windy, Shaddoll Scott, Shaddoll Dragon, Shaddoll Ariel, Shaddoll Hedgehog. These are probably just the ones of because I really didn't see me running multiples of these. Their effects are very situational, and for the most part, with Ariel, because she is a different attributed Shaddoll monster, I can go into Acapulone, but I can also, if I banish, I can take advantage of her effect as well. Dragon is here just for the drop off to destroy spells and trap cards, and then just a main deck beater. And then you have Hedgehog, and Hedgehog is pretty much going to be here to search. Um, Rare that I ever use its effect to search for the spell, but I mostly do end up searching for the monster, so nothing wrong with that. If anything, if I did take out Ariel, I could either bump up Dragon or bump up Hedgehog, just for that, setup to have a bulkier means of defense or offense. So that's it for the three of them. Then we go on to all the non-Shaddoll monsters. So pretty much I'm bringing back the clowns. I enjoy the clown engine in Shaddoll because you have 2 to 3 monsters here to help with the fusion. But they work so tremendously on their own with their own unique abilities. Because I am not running main deck hand traps, which can be a downside to this. But if you don't want to run the clown engine, you can always just throw in um, I probably just say drop a couple of 1-0s or 3-0s, and then just throw in your ashes and your bells or maybe your ghost ogre. So just a little insight there, but I do enjoy the clown engine because of how versatile it makes in terms of sending them to the grave. You have their abilities that trigger in the grave. You have Hat Trigger who can special summon when there are multiple monsters on the board. It doesn't matter who has them as long as they have them, and then he can mitigate burn damage. I was trying to fit in Perform Mage Magician, but I didn't want to stretch out the extra deck too much as already is being stretched out, and I think at this point, if anything, I just wanted the engine for fuel to the fusion cards at that point. So, um, mitigating damage, easier summons, and an additional special summon. Alright, then we move on to Mathematician and Felice the Life Sworn Archer. So, the only other tuner in the deck which presumably be her. And I don't mind the mathematician because for the first normal summon, it's not a bad normal summon to have a foolish burial. Especially considering the fact the cards in this deck outside of dragon can easily be sent thanks to mathematician and then triggering their effects. Now the only downside to this is that there's no glow up bulb because if I was, I'd have dropped glow up bulb in here instead of Felice. Or I would go 2 mathematician, 1 Felice, 1 um, glowable. Yeah, glowable is now officially banned, so that kind of does suck. other than that, I mean, it's just a range of tuners, and I still have Falco. I still have Felice. If I had Raiden, I would use Raiden just because he's another four. It's not that many level ones, unless you want to use Effect Veiler for her synchros, for synchros and everything. But that's also a stretch there, in just terms of the tuners. But yeah, I do get the range of these two, and I only wanted to run Gwen Felice because she only triggers off of monster effects. So if anything, she's probably just gonna be triggered off Mathematician and then Mathematician or Beast. Beast considered too, and then it'll just help um, out with that. So yeah, all right, that is it for the two of them. Let's move on to the spells. And I mean, it's a fusion deck, so you're gonna have your fusion setup. The funny thing about it is Shaddolls have so much range when it comes to what fusion cards they can use, but the most used and most popular for fusion when it comes to Shaddol is Shaddoll Fusion, El Shaddoll Fusion, and Super Polymerization. So Shaddoll Fusion, amazing fusion card. It's their variation of Miracle Fusion. Instead of banishing the cards, you're sending it from the deck to the graveyard. And then to correspond for that, you need to at least your opponent just has to have someone that's supposed to summon extra deck. And since most of the decks are supposed to summon from the extra deck, you don't have that much of a problem. You have El Shaddai Fusion, which mind you is a quick play spell, so you can easily flip this on your opponent and then take advantage of, Windy, because Windy would be a great answer. Is a great answer to a lot of decks. You can also summon Construct to give your opponent a little more caution about what they do during battle, or if they even want to swing at Construct. Then Super Polymerization is just pretty much discard, snatch your opponent's monsters, and make one of your fusion cards. And the reason why I'm running this full set of each is because, like I said, fusion is what this deck optimizes in outside of flip effects. And the fusion monsters in their deck punish your opponent for a lot of their special summons. So take advantage of that as much as you can. And it's just a really good setup here just for the three ups. And that way you can have your fusion setup and not have to worry about a lot of things. You have counteracts to a lot of, you have answers within answers for answers. So that is it for all three of them. And then the only other fusion card, of course, is Instant Fusion. But that is a one of now. And funny enough, I'm running one Pot Avarice, but the thing is, Pot's at three and Instant Fusion isn't. And I honestly don't have a problem with triple Pot Avarice, just because there are answers to Pot. It's just Instant Fusion has so many different things it can pull off. And Windy and Thousand Eyes Restrict are two of the big things I can pull off. Because I'm not fusing summoning for Thousand Eyes Restrict. No, I'm going to Instant Fusion and still get it going. And then I can just go into Link Karibo from there. But I do enjoy having at least the abrupt use for Instant Fusion. And then Foolish Burial is of course just sending monsters from the deck to grave, and then it triggers off their effects. And then Pot's here for the recovery if needed. Other than that, it is a draw card. Well, it's recovery and draw in one. But I don't know. I'm just feeling a little about Pot Avarice in the deck. But I mean, it's here. I'm just take advantage of it as I can. So, all right. The only other cards to talk about in the main deck are, of course, the two fusions, the two trap cards, Shaddoll Fusion and Shaddoll Core. Now, most people are not running multiples of either of these. Let alone, well, most people are running multiples of these, but not a set. And I enjoy running the set because Core gives me that additional monster for the Fusion Summit, and it gives me Spell and Trap Recovery. I also have Shadow Incarnation, which can help me put monsters onto the board, helps me trigger flip effects, or helps me prepare flip effects. All in one card. And of course, I can combo this with Ariel and her recovery effects, so I'm not too worried there. If anything, if I did want to just drop it down, I'd probably just drop it to 2 core, 2 re, and then just put in some random other traps, if anything. So, yeah, that is it for the main deck. Then, as far as the extra deck goes, of course, it starts out with the lovely El Shaddoll Construct, not Shaddoll Construct, because that's the only monster. She, yet again, gets to reign supreme with her archetype. Honestly, love Construct. She's an amazing fusion monster. She's actually one of my favorite fusion monsters, just because of all the things she does. She's very, very supportive of her archetype. She has a lot of recovery. She has a lot of offense and defensive setup. and it literally doesn't take much to make construct. You can see construct in a ton of builds with Shaddoll. You have Shaddoll artifact that can use the artifact monsters for light targets. You have Dino, was it Dino Lightsworn Shaddoll? You have Chaos Shaddoll. You just have a lot of variations of light you can easily put into Shaddoll. I mean, you even put in the clowns, and you see how far that can go. Because Trade Clown was in the structure deck. So yeah, it's a lot of good offense and defense with us, and that's why she is at 3 in this deck, because she is the boss monster, and she is one of the most resourceful boss monsters in a lot of art. Well, for just archetypes in general. So that is of course construct. I'm running 2 Wendy for the offensive defensive play Wendy gives, because if you can lock your opponent out of massive special summons for a turn, that's perfectly fine. Then on your turn, bam, you're gonna do all these crazy special summons. You're gonna have first to get rid of Wendy, but that's gonna be fine because then you're gonna drop all your special summons after she's gone. Then put another one back onto the board. You do have a lot of recovery in this deck, like I said, so it's not gonna hurt you too much to drop Wendy, put a new monster on the board, then drop the second Wendy. At least you have the recovery in Pot Avarice for some help. You have Falco to put Wendy back onto the board. You have All Incarnation. So you just have a lot of, there's just a lot of offense and defensive setups that you can easily take advantage of. And then I'm only running one of the other 2 Shaddoll fusion monsters that I decided to run. Shikinaga and Apple Cologne. Apple Cologne can be destroyed at battle. It has the ability to shut down a card when special summoned. And then you have Shikinaga, who can negate such summon monsters effects. So I easily had her. Great super poly target once more machine stuff comes out, because we are due for that structure deck to come out in a few weeks. So, and then Secret Slayers as well. So you have some decent targets there to deal with, but you also have super polarization, so that help you out there with both of these. And then I'm running the one Thousand Eyes Restrict. This is for the instant fusion. This is the second instant fusion target, because you can target Wendy as well. And then this will take your opponent's monster. You can do away with this Link Karibo, and then it's a really good shutdown monster. And not to mention, remember, it still has its own abilities, so your opponent can attack, no battle positions can be changed. So you got a lot of things going with I was about to call it constructs, but with Thousand Eyes Restrict. If you don't have Thousand Eyes Restrict, you can get Millennium Eyes Restrict, and that's even more of a beast of a monster, because you can summon Millennium Eyes. You can attach a monster in the graveyard, negate the effects of those monsters till the end of the turn, and then you still have a lot of bonus and benefit there. Moving on from that, we talk about the Link monsters. Link Karibo, who I just wanted to run a one of in conjunction with the Thousand Eyes Restrict. We we have Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus. Maybe a unicorn could have fit in here. Gotta get a unicorn so I can have the full set, because unicorns are real cheap too. But just the offset of monster destruction, main monster zone, monster destruction, spell and trap destruction, and then their corresponding code link effects. And then dropping the one barrel sword, because, well, why not? Barrel sword is still a resourceful monster. It may look like a little difficult to pull off into this deck, but like I said, when the whole shift is going on right now from putting monsters wherever the fusions exceeds and link monsters wherever, I mean, fusions exceeds and synchro monsters wherever you want to now, and they're not relegated to having to be in the monster zone or linked, or having a link monster in its corresponding link target, I mean link markers. So it really doesn't matter. I was really planning on just making it nothing but exceeds and synchro fusion, and maybe a couple of exceeds, and like just dropping the link engine, just because I figured why not go back to how it used to be with Shaddoll. So yeah, that is it for them. And then my other freebie targets, I have the one Exciton Knight, the Leo, and the Fortune Lady Every. For the most part, with this is just a just in case scenario. Like if I need the board to be wiped, drop the Exciton, and then bam. Exciton is a good light target for construct, so that's another benefit to having him around. Then we have Fortune Lady Every. She's just here to play with Spellcaster. She can be, set up for construct. She has her own unique ability where when she's on the field, once a turn, during the standby, once she gets her level, she can target something on your opponent's side, a monster on your opponent's side of the field that's face up and banish it. So there's some removal from her there. And then she's not too hard to set up either. Then you have Leo, who's also not too hard to set up. And the great thing about Leo is Leo's passive ability that nothing can affect him until your nothing your opponent does to affect him until you're set by main phase two. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, what can you do to Leo? Which is another giant beat stick. So yeah, I just wanted to add all of that together. And that pretty much just rounds it off here for my Shaddoll a deck profile. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hopefully have some more content up for you guys within the weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.